Dominic Savio is the youngest person that the Catholic Church has ever declared to be a saint on the basis of his heroic virtue alone, that is, his exceptional goodness. Dominic was the son of poor working-class folks. His father was a blacksmith, and both of his parents taught him about Jesus, Mary, and the saints, and how to pray. Dominic was a remarkable boy. Even as a young boy, he had great faith. For example, he said grace before every meal and refused to eat with those who did not. He was very bright and enjoyed school as well as play. He was well liked and respected by his friends. He showed leadership skills from a very young age. He used those skills to encourage his friends to holiness. Although he was young, Dominic was clearly different than his peers. Once, 3 boys in the school stopped the heating school stove with snow and rubbish. The boys were known as troublemakers and were likely to face expulsion if caught. So, they blamed Dominic for the misdeed. Dominic did not deny the accusation. He was scolded before the class. However, a day later, he learned the truth. He asked Dominic why he did not defend himself while being scolded for something he did not do. Dominic mentioned, "I was imitating Jesus, he who remained silent while unjust accused." Father Lucha recognized the boy's remarkable piety and let him make his first communion at the age of 7. As the first day of communion drew near, Dominic wrote down 4 resolutions. Remarkably mature thoughts of 7 years old. I will go to confession and communion as often my confessor will allow. I will sanctify Sundays and holy days in a special way. Jesus, Mary will be my friend and death, but not sin. Dominic lived by those resolutions. In school, while full of energy and ready to join in any game with his friends, Dominic's health began to fail. Dominic's teacher spoke well of him and brought him to the attention of Father DonBosco. Father DonBosco was renowned for looking after 100 of boys, many of them orphaned and poor. In October 1854, Dominic was personally introduced to Father DonBosco along with his teacher. Later that day, Dominic was invited to attend the school Don Bosco had recently founded, Oratory of St. Francis de Sales, a school, a youth center, and a hospice that Father Don Bosco had begun as part of his work. Dominic was very excited. He knew that if he was a good student, he could eventually become a priest and grow even closer to the Lord. The oratory became Dominic's home for the rest of his short life. Dominic deeply impressed Father Bosco with his desire to become a saint, so much that the priest began to take notes about the exceptional young boy. Those notes would later become the basis of his biography about Dominic. Father Bosco held the young charge to grow in holiness. Sometimes Dominic skipped meals so that he could have more time to pray. The other boys made fun of him, but Father Bosco taught him that the best way to be a saint is to do ordinary things with extraordinary zeal. He explained that he should do instead was to devote himself to his studies and to be cheerful. Dominic's happy demeanor quickly returned. At the same time Dominic was developing his reputation as a fantastic student, his health began to fail. Dominic was taken to the doctor, who recommended that he should be sent home to his family to recover. Dominic wanted to stay at the oratory, but Father Bosco insisted he would go home. Everybody expected Dominic to recover, except for Dominic himself, who insisted he was dying. He implored his parents to bring the parish priest so he could make a last confession. They obliged him, and Dominic made his last confession and was given the anointing of the sick. His last words were, "Goodbye, Dad, goodbye. Oh, what wonderful thing I see. Dominic fell asleep and died within minutes.
It was 9th March 1857 and Dominic was merely 14 years old of age. Father Bosco was powerfully touched by Dominic and he wrote a biography, The Life of Dominic Savio. The biography quickly became popular and would eventually be read in school across Italy. Dominic Savio was declared venerable in 1933 by Pope Pius XI, beatified in 1950, then canonized in 1954 by Pope Pius XII. I am not capable of doing big things, but I want to do everything, even the smallest thing, for the greater glory of God. If I can succeed in saving only a single soul, I can be sure that my own will be saved. Nothing seems tiresome or painful when you are working for a master who pays well, who rewards even a cup of cold water given love for him. Now, let us